Well, I think the credit for that would have to go to my parents, because I grew up in a home that was really committed to the arts, and then I was very fortunate that I was able to learn from some of the greatest masters of Hindustani classical music. But really speaking, around the time that I graduated, which is many, many years ago, my mum made me a fantastic offer. After I graduated, she said to me that, I can see that she could see that I was very, very passionate about music. And then she said, why don't you take a year off and decide whether you want to make a commitment to music. And so don't sort of enroll for your master's course right away, but decide whether you want to do music, because if you do, then you really need to spend your entire day with music. And that was a fantastic offer. And I didn't take a year, I took about a month to decide, and since then it's been the companionship of music always. Well, I think in any discipline, it's very important to feel comfortable being the person you are. I've been a student of Hindustani classical music, but I've also sung popular music. And if I had wanted to, suddenly overnight turn into a conventional sort of pop singer, that would have been both hilarious. I mean, it would have made for great comedy. But but just imagine me in a lime green psychedelic suit or something like that.
Why not?
I think it's hilarious. But I think I was very comfortable singing various kinds of music, but just being the person I am. And I think I've never felt sort of forced into doing things. So I grew up also, with my parents and my gurus also. All of them had very diverse tastes in music, and they really respected diversity. And I think that being from India, having this opportunity to see so many kinds of music and listen, I think that's really what has been quite fantastic. Personally, I grew up in a home with very strong women. My mother, my maternal grandmother, was born in 1900 and chose to do her master's in mathematics at a time when women perhaps were not even studying formally. Always, she was widowed very early and brought up her 3 daughters, including my mother. And yet there was a certain dignity and grace about her, which really always inspired me. Never the, sort of crying about what fate has brought for her, but really a very wonderful, strong woman. And in music, I find that, of course, as a shishya, you always end up more or less idolizing the people that you learn from, and you want to sound like them, you want your mannerisms to be like them. But the wonderful thing about the people I learned from was that they really encouraged me to find my own voice, as it were, and my own way also. And so I really, in a sense, when you say idols, for me the path breakers like Kumar Gandharv, like Siddheshwari ji, Begum Akhtar, whose centenary year we are celebrating this year. All of these people, and many more, I'm not naming all of them, it will just be endless, but really these people who were able to find their own space in the different fields that they were working in, and who were able to change the direction of the music itself. When you're so deeply rooted and anchored in a tradition, there's a tendency to get trapped within it also. But these were fantastic people. So, you constantly dream of being able to find that kind of,
match up to them.
Not match up to them, but also, find your own direction and take inspiration from them, and yet, not be a caricature. Yeah. To be able to make a full-time commitment and livelihood from music is very tough. It is very difficult. And on terms and conditions that provide you with a certain respect and dignity, it is extremely difficult. Especially if you are not interested in being part of the mainstream. Yeah. And so I think that's really, really difficult. But I wouldn't say that it is so difficult. I mean, I imagine that finding your own space and establishing yourself in any field today is difficult.
So you think that the struggle still holds true today?
Yeah, and they may be slightly reformatted or sort of reworked, but otherwise it's as difficult. And remember that for an artist there's always a personal struggle also, in the sense that that whole yearning for finding
Yourself,
your
your
expression.
identity,
Yeah.
able to express
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It would be more a request, because the message is sort of really condescending, but really I feel that my experience with youngsters has been wonderful, and I feel that they're all extremely aware of many things which we grew up sort of not even knowing about, and I think they're very highly creative people with liberal minds, and I think that they can make changes like nobody else can. So my belief is that changes in music will come from the young, both in patterns of music making, in patterns of listening, and in patterns of informed support. Thank you.